My loves, good afternoon and happy Sunday. So yes, the last part we're at, I think it was part 23, when I was talking about brothers having come to my house to tell my parents that he doesn't know where I live, but he's very concerned about me. He thinks I live on the street, whatnot, that whole false pretense situation. And I'm not sure, I think it was Nighty the creator who said a lot of the time these bullies don't know where their victims are and then they act concerned. That's very true. Because a person who's concerned, who has your number, can reach out to you and say, hey, Bali, where are you staying? Or drop a text and be like, yo, I know we're not good right now, but what's going on, you know? So yeah, that's where we were at last time. I just needed a bit of a break before it was on daily. My week was quite hectic, but thank you guys so much for your patience. Anyway, so at this point in time, guys, a friend of mine, Spiwe, was like, Mbali, actually, before we got there, I called my parents and I sat down with my parents and we actually had a meeting and I told them what was going on, right? And on that day when my ex-husband was at my house, he said to my family that his family is gonna come through so we can have a meeting, right? Again, I'm saying the timelines are, because I was going through the timelines on my end are a little bit wishy-washy, but I know this was around about the time of my ex-husband's aunt's funeral. So he says to my parents, nope, his parents will reach out, there's going to be a family meeting. That family meeting was supposed to be the day after, I think, the day after his aunt's funeral. This is what happens with the story, how his family came at my family. Then his mom texts my mom and says, yo, we're gonna come through day after the funeral, so we can talk about all of this, whatnot. I'm like to my mom, whatever. Do whatever. If that's the protocol that you guys need to follow, great. I kid you not, the day they were supposed to come, my ex-husband's mother sends my mom a text message saying, hi, my ex-husband's father says that we should not come anymore. This is now my former mama Zala speaking to my mom via text. We're not gonna come anymore. Her hubby says that this thing will resolve itself. So one day they won't be coming anymore. And she says to my mom that she's got washing to do. So yeah. Keep in mind, they initiated the meeting. My parents did not call a meeting because my parents heard what I had to say and they understood exactly where I was coming from, because what the heck? Do you understand? What the heck? Our child is being abused. There's a secret that's looming in the air. And I went to them with the secret. And all they had to say was that I had too much time on my hands. I must give their kid a kid and I must learn to forgive. My parents were like, what the heck? So when his family wanted a meeting, my parents were like, yeah. Hex yeah. Bring it. So no, they cancelled. And we are under the belief. We believe that they cancelled because of Ditlong, because they know the truth. Because when my ex gives me the information that he gave me, he said to me, his father was like, yeah, well, you've already made up your mind, so what's the point of having a meeting? They didn't want to come to my parents' house, but as opposed to being truthful and honest Christians like they say they are, right? You say our child was wrong and you apologize. But no, they completely they turned from a meeting that they then called. My parents are like, nah, let it be. Because there's no meeting that was ever gonna send me back there. My God and I had spoken. Yahweh and we had spoken, and I had made peace with the situation. Fine. My parents were very angry. My dad was very angry at Lenyatsa meeting, and then when the meeting's supposed to happen, you're like, yo, we're not gonna come anymore. Papa Brav says this thing is gonna sort itself out. Number two, my former mother-in-law said she had washing to do. My parents felt very disrespected, but you know what? They were like, yeah, it's fine. It'd be like that. If they also couldn't look after you properly and reprimand their son when he was doing all of this to you, we don't expect them to be respectful of us because they could barely respect you. So yeah, I'm not editing any of this. I'm posting it as it is, because God is my witness. I'm not gonna edit anything. So anyway, That's that part, right? So that family meeting didn't happen. They didn't want to come here and stand for what their child had did. So to this day, ever since that time, when I went to them, said, this is what I've been going through, these are the screenshots, I have never seen them since. They've never hit my parents up ever since the time they called that meeting and then cancelled it, right? Fine. Then a friend of mine's PA was like, yo, okay, no, before that part, there's a time where I wasn't dealing with the fact that this had happened to me. Like, I lived a life for so long. The fact that I was like, was I in a lavender marriage? At that point, I'm confused. Like, I don't know what's going on because I don't know, right? And I'm being so truthful about this, guys. We were in a sexless marriage, right? So I also thought maybe it's because work and stuff is busy, and maybe our desires just didn't match up because we just couldn't come to certain agreement when it comes to certain things, right? And I don't want to delve too much into the wrong things, right? Because I'm still keeping this content PG-13, right? We didn't have the same desires, the same interests, and the same passions, right? He was great. He was happy with a strict Wednesday at 8 o'clock schedule, every Wednesday at 8. And I wasn't. Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the bed. I didn't like that. I don't want to delve into, because I'm not encouraging that kind of talk under here, like in the comment section. But he was rigid like that. And I was more adventurous, you know? We're married, bro. Let's keep it spicy. I'm that kind of person. And bruv just really didn't care. So I just stopped. We just stopped and it was okay. By the time it hit December 2023, we hadn't touched each other for a very long time. Literally we were just cuddling. Like, he would just put his arm over me when we'd sleep, or we'd just cuddle when we're sleeping. There was no intimacy between us, and that should have also been a sign that, you know, a red flag for me, because we're married. It should have been a red flag for me. I was like, oh, maybe it's the schedule, maybe he's tired, maybe he's busy, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So the reality of the fact that I was in what I'm deeming to have been a lavender marriage, because like I said, he's never confirmed anything, and I can't then go around putting that on him, I guess. I couldn't deal with the fact that this whole thing had happened, and I was embarrassed as if it was my fault. Even with the abuse, I walked around carrying it and the shame, and I couldn't deal. I remember one day I was in tears, guys, and I was sitting with my parents, and no, I was sitting in my room, and I left my room and I went to my parents, and I said to them, I need to speak to you guys. And they were like, what's up? I'm in tears. And I'm like, I think it's time I checked into a mental health care facility, because I'm not dealing with the shame. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not dealing with the shame, and I'm not dealing with embarrassment, because I can't even explain or say anything to anyone as to why I've left, right? Because I'm too embarrassed, because I feel like it's my fault. And my parents were like, you haven't been yourself for the longest time. So if that's what's going to help to bring back our child, the child who we know, then we support you. Like, what do you need us to do? My parents are like, just let us know. Do you need us to step in, or have you got this? I'm like, no, I've got this, right? And they like, okay, cool, let us know. So I was talking to a friend of mine's peer. He was really a great support to me during this time. Shout out to him. He was like, it's time for you to go to therapy, bro. It's been cute, but it's time for you to speak to a professional now, because if you don't, the hatred and the anger is going to consume you. And he shared a number with me, and I hit that therapist up. It's in Waterfall. Very great therapy center, everything. I hit them up and I scheduled an appointment with the therapist. Now, with the whole therapy thing looming, remember, I'm still on Brav's medical aid, because now we're separated, right? Now, we're about to start the divorce process. On my side, I've already spoken to a lawyer, just by the way. From the time I left, I had already spoken to a lawyer. From around about Feb, right? So Feb, I had already spoken to a lawyer, right? So at that point in time, sharp therapy. So now with therapy about to happen, we're gonna use the savings, the MSA on the therapy, on the medical aid until they've diagnosed me, so that it can now go under the mental health care benefit, right? So I tell Brav,